Okay, so get ready, because we're diving into some seriously cool linguistics today.
Yeah.
You know those notes you shared about how Chinese speakers learn English?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to unpack what makes those consonant clusters so tricky.
Fascinating stuff.
We're looking at these excerpts about common pronunciation challenges.
Right.
And it's honestly mind-blowing. Like,
Yeah.
it goes way beyond just accents, you know?
It really does.
It gets into how different languages actually shape
Mm-hmm.
the way we hear and produce sounds.
The building blocks of language.
Yeah, exactly.
So you know how in Chinese
Right.
and English have like fundamentally different ways of structuring sounds?
I'm following you, yeah.
It's like imagine sound as building blocks.
Okay.
In Chinese, these blocks are arranged in a way that doesn't emphasize consonant clusters the way English does.
So are you saying that certain sounds
Right.
like R, L, T, D, F, and V,
Exactly.
they aren't as common when they're bunched together in Chinese?
You'll often find them being simplified, especially when they come after a vowel.
Give me an example.
Like the word silver, for instance.
Yeah.
Think about how that might sound.
So someone learning English might say siver
Precisely.
instead of silver.
And what's really mind-blowing is that
Yeah.
these sounds that might seem subtle to an English speaker
Right.
are actually super important for understanding meaning
Wow.
in English.
That makes you realize how tough it can be to learn a new language.
It's a whole different ballgame.
It's like your brain has to learn a whole new set of rules.
Yeah, it's like rewiring.
And you mentioned in your notes that you're learning Mandarin.
Oh yeah, I'm loving it.
Have you noticed how your perception of English sounds has changed since you started?
Definitely.
It's pretty wild, right?
I'm much more aware of the sounds I'm making and how they differ from Mandarin.
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm hearing English with new ears.
That's so
This is
cool.
a whole new perspective.
So what are some ways people can overcome these pronunciation hurdles? The source mentioned some specific strategies, right?
Absolutely.
Fill us in.
There are some really neat techniques that focus on targeted listening exercises.
Oh, interesting.
The idea is to train your ear to pick up those subtle differences in consonant clusters.
Makes sense.
There are also exercises that help you physically practice the mouth movements needed to produce these sounds clearly.
Hold on, though.
Yeah,
The source also mentions that
Yeah.
even native English speakers
it's true.
simplify sounds sometimes.
It happens.
Does that mean there isn't one right way to pronounce things?
That's a great observation.
It's really interesting.
It highlights how pronunciation can be flexible
Okay.
and depends on the context.
Hmm.
It's not always about being perfectly correct,
Right.
but about being understood.
This makes you think about how we perceive accents.
Absolutely.
Maybe it's less about being right or wrong
Mm-hmm.
and more about understanding the unique ways people adapt language.
Precisely.
It's fascinating.
It all comes back to the idea that our native language shapes our perception of sounds,
Right.
and that in turn influences how we perceive other cultures.
This has been an amazing deep dive.
I agree.
Really insightful stuff.
Glad you enjoyed it.
We've just scratched the surface of this topic.
Oh, there's so much more to explore.
For anyone who wants to explore further, I highly recommend checking out the book, The Sounds of Language.
Your book.
It really dives into the fascinating world of phonology
A classic.
and how languages influence each other.
It's a must-read.
It's a great way to expand your understanding of language and culture.
Couldn't agree more.
So yeah, go check it out.
It'll blow your mind.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Until next time.